Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 52 of Storyteller Conclave. This is a show all about helping you run the best tabletop role-playing game that you can. Whether you're a new storyteller or dungeon master learning the craft, or an experienced storyteller looking to take your game up to the next level, I am Sarah.
I'm Rob.
Rob, guess what today is?
Today is our anniversary.
Today is our 1-year anniversary.
This is crazy.
I am so happy about this. And we haven't missed a week either.
No, we've been crazy about things like that.
We've gone through like vacations and stuff like that.
Yeah, holidays.
Yeah.
We did some recordings. We've been through a lot. We went through birthdays and all kinds of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, this is nuts. So, first off, I'm just going to say thank you, Sean. Thank you, Vicky. You've been great support to us this whole time.
Absolutely.
Since the very beginning, you've been just letting us do this crazy thing every Wednesday, regardless of what's going on. Mm-hmm. And for that, we are eternally grateful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you everyone for joining us in the live chat, and I'm seeing that we do have some listeners in there, and I'm very happy to have you guys today, and we will make it worth it because we will be doing some giveaways. So we're going to give a little bit of time for people to get in and join us, but we have some questions, and we have hopefully some questions coming out of the field here too, and we'll try and get to all of them, but. Sarah kind of wanted to roll back time a little bit and talk about where we've been. Yeah,
and it's been kind of a journey over the last year, mm-hmm. And we've had some bumps, we've had some good times. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened kind of behind the scenes. Maybe we can talk about a little bit.
Oh, geez, do you want to start with comedy or do you want to start with tragedy?
Well, I mean, I think we just start with the origins of the show. I mean,
oh, you mean like you coming to me and saying, "Why aren't we recording this?"
Right, basically. I think the show really kind of got its origin. Like way back, it was a handful of months before we started, but you had invited me out for just like a cup of coffee or something like that.
Yeah, I think what it started for me was we hadn't talked much.
Yeah,
like we had talked about different games, and I was talking about getting my game restarted, and I was just like, "Do you want to do coffee someplace, and we'll just sit down and chat?" And you were like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Yeah, right.
You were kind of getting back on your feet a little bit on between work and everything else. I think it was good timing that like the last time that we had really ever hung out a lot together, just the two of us, was I think us playing Flat Out on my old Xbox and just laughing our asses off because I think it was in Latin or Italian.
Italian.
We couldn't even read the screen because I will say it was not an American version of the game, and we still had a great time trying to figure out how it worked.
Right. And we kept kind of coming back to that of like, man, we gotta just like have some time for just to hang out like as friends and just do shit, because you occasionally you've got Rock Band.
Oh yeah, I do Rock Band nights.
We love having Rock Band nights over here and stuff like that, but that's not really like one-on-one friend time, So
no, that's group music, singing, being stupid time.
Right. Yeah. And maybe imbibing a few ginger ales and
Yeah, because we don't drink.
Right. No,
on the show.
But so we were out for coffee, and wasn't that the night also with the was it cryogenically frozen ice cream?
Oh yes, it was.
Oh, stuff was amazing.
That was really cool. So
they liquid nitrogen. Yeah, they dump into the ice cream or something.
Make ice cream right in front of you with liquid nitrogen, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Knox, I agree with you. We do need more food-based tabletop role-playing games. Bring that back up later when we're talking about games we want to rebirth, because I'm going to get Overwatch to agree on this one as well. There's something coming up for that.
Food-based RPGs?
Yeah.
All I'm thinking of is the old Nintendo game Burger Time. But like I can't even think of what a food-based RPG might be.
Dude, they're okay.
Okay, we'll talk.
We'll talk. I got an idea. Thank you for bringing that up.
We'll get back.
We'll come back. We'll come back.
All right.
What in the middle of a D&D campaign right now is what is it? It's a Wednesday night. How could you? Never mind.
It's always time for D&D.
It's always time for D&D.
Draven, the MixLR link.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Second. I realize I can't tell you on the air what
Sam
the MixLR link.
It's ours.
Because you're not listening live, because you're not on MixLR right now.
Dread and Jenga towers made of breadsticks. I like that.
God, yeah.
That actually, I think by the end of that, you'd have carb overload.
I can just imagine like stealing all of them from Olive Garden.
You know what it is? Wolford Grimley is the devil in that one because diabetes. So
anyway, so we're out for coffee and Nitro
nitroglycerin.
Not nitroglycerin.
That'd be fantastic.
Nitroglycerin ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah. So
nitrogen
ice cream.
Nitrogen ice cream, and we just sat there for what 3.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, we lost time.
Like we had to keep.
We
checking
closed
back
the
in,
place.
We had to keep checking back in with Vicky. Like, yeah, we're okay. We're not crashing on the side of a road somewhere. We're just talking.
Yeah, but we came up with all kinds of crazy ideas, and I think you had said, I want to do this, and I said, if we're gonna do this, I wanted to have like 25 shows, like ideas for shows and write-ups. And I think in 2 days we wrote 4 pages of notes.
Something like that, yeah. And it was like in the first 20 minutes we had your like 25 ideas.
Yeah.
Like it was that easy.
Yeah.
And I remember too, like the reason I thought to ask you about it was not only because, obviously we I said to you, why aren't we recording these like 3 hours, or we're just sitting around BSing about D&D all day, I said, but the other thing was I was listening to a lot of podcasts at the time, and so I've recently gotten you into this game, but The Division.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to a couple of different podcasts about The Division, and there's a lot of like theory crafting and stuff like that of like, oh, this gear goes well with this gun, and this, you use this, technique against these enemies over here. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, God, I wish I had something I was an expert about enough that I could like start a podcast about that, like people would listen to me. But like I don't know any video game that well, Like there's no video game I'm that into that I could even hold a candle to these people that play them constantly and make them their life and make them their well-being,
Sure.
And then I was listening to Brennan Mulligan.
Okay.
Who hosts Dimension 20. And
right, okay, I remember
he
that.
Has his own sort of DM podcast sort of thing called Adventure Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a phenomenal storyteller, one of my absolute favorite storytellers, and he had some really great advice on these adventure academies, but they were really sparse to come out. I think there was only like 10 episodes of it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really super in-depth, and he's got some great guest stars on there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, there was only about 10 episodes or whatnot, and I was listening to that, and I was thinking like, oh crap, that's the thing that I know about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I can talk about for hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was like the next day I was like, I had an idea. I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but do you want to do a podcast? And like in 15 minutes you were like, okay, it's going to happen like this and like this. And I know this guy, and we know there's a place where we're going to record. Yep. And
after that, it was just story.
Yeah.
It just happened.
After that, we just rolled into it. So.
Now we have like this and a following and stuff to give away, and like, now granted, it's our stuff to give away, but it's still, we're doing this.
Yeah.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
Like semi-professional.
Almost like we're legitimate.
Almost. All right. I say we're 10 minutes in, and I would like to do the first giveaway.
Oh, you were itching to do a giveaway. All right.
So our first giveaway, I'm not saying what it is, but if you'd like to be part of the giveaway, in the live chat, I want you to put in the word, let's do D20. Just put D20 if you want to be in on this giveaway while we're talking, and we will tally up the first grouping, and we will then do a random roll. We actually have dice here to roll, and because we're making it appropriate.
Clicky clacky, math rocks.
So we'll see who gets in on this one.
All right, here they all come.
Okay, we got one.
This is crazy. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll keep track of this.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live because we're crazy like that. We may go a little long just because we can give everything away. I got like 15 giveaways to do, and I'm planning on giving it all away.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think for me, the real point when it hit was when we basically figured out what the costs were, and we're sitting at Podcast Detroit, like in the parking lot, and you're like, "Are we going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's just do this." And we're like, "Really? That is that simple?" And we're just doing this?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I got to talk to Vicky. And you're like, I'll talk to Sean. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
And like, the next night, we were like, yeah, they both are buying this. Let's do this thing.
Yeah. And Sean was just like, I don't care.
It was just crazy.
Sounds great.
It was just
cool.
crazy.
Have fun.
So, but, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6.
We got 6 at least. Let's do a D6. That's a D6. All right. First one comes out to Technolich. All right, Technolich, you are now the prize winner for a Steam puzzle game called The Witness. I will be getting that to you after the show. You will get whatever your preferred link method is. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes. So, let's do a question, and we'll bounce through.
Yeah. Let's bounce through. Okay. That sounds great. All right. So I'm gonna pull back up my show sheet. I've been watching the live chat there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to just go down the list on the questions? Or?
Yeah. We'll do that, and then we'll see if we can pull another one off the playboard here.
Yeah, you know, and as always, anybody in the live chat, if you've got a question, go ahead and chuck it our way, and we'll be more than happy to talk.
Slide it in there. All right, go ahead and grab the first question.
All right. So the first question comes from our show contributor Knox in the Box, who asks, "What are some good examples of tabletop RPGs that design awe into the main narrative, and what are a few tricks to design awe into your own games?"
See, what got me on this one was trying to figure out exactly what we meant by awe, and then we had a quick discussion about it, and you had a great description. Please don't go into 10 minutes of it.
Oh, no. I know. I only did that because I had the time. We're at dinner, so...
But effectively, for those who are not into Critical Role's complete campaign, basically they ended up fighting a Titan. Something obviously mountain-esque in size.
Well, they weren't even fighting it, though. They were just inside of it.
Effectively,
because
yes.
It was literally large enough that there was like a dungeon inside of the Titan.
Yeah, and then,
with a city at the top of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it got destroyed with, and it was just fighting within chaos of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So creating having that moment of, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, seeing it on the horizon, if you will. I think for me, it has to do with setting scale early on.
Yeah.
And I think something like Mouse Guard does that right off the bat. Because it teaches you that everything small is what it is. And anything larger than a mouse is gargantuan. Because you're living in a forest that probably is no bigger than like 3-4 acres.
Yeah.
Maybe 5?
Squirrels are the sizes of elephants to us. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
A snake, a 3-foot-long snake, is a dragon, essentially. You know?
So you're setting a scale there, but I don't think that's the limitation of physical scale. I think you also have emotional scale, you know, where you've got situations where, like in Shadowrun, where it's a scale of finance, a scale of technology, a scale of magic, where things are like you have dragons that you can achieve, but these things can do infinite things.
Yeah.
You know, magic is unbelievable. It killed a dragon, a legendary creature out of nowhere, and you're like, oh crap, someone killed that dragon. Who? You know, that kind of awe comes out of a scope of storytelling that designs it. And I think some systems are good at it, like I think Mouse Guard is a good game for it because it sets that scale very much into it. I think that Shadowrun, because it builds you the world to set the scale.
Yeah.
And defines what the scale is.
And like you said, Shadowrun, where your scale is not quite so much one of size or of physical prowess, but more of means.
Yes.
You know, is this Decker someone who can move the entire Matrix all at once,
right.
Or are they just some little petty, you know, sneak thief?
Right.
Is this shaman someone who can call down the next great ghost dance, or are they just someone who occasionally whispers to spirits? You know?
And likewise, you've got games like Warhammer 40K when you're like, okay, well, I have 1,500 points to put on the field, and you put out your little armies here and your little armies there, and then someone goes and grabs a Dwarven Forge 1,400 point mini and sets it on the table, and you go, oh shit!
A Titan.
Yes.
Yep.
And now you're like, that's why you wanted it to be 1,500 points.
my miniatures are 1.5 inches tall. Yours is 15 inches tall.
Correct.
And costs you $300.
And it comes with its own custom blast templates. And so in games like that, scale has a couple meanings to you. Because it's physical, but at the same time, you know what it can do. You know what it was worth to buy that and why it went out. I think Magic the Gathering has scale to it to a degree. I mean, the playing field's leveled until you see a card that is ultra rare.
Yeah.
That's a level of awe and scale. So I think games that help define that scale early on are ones where you can see the scope, where it's either in the story or it's well defined in the mechanics, that scope is there. I think beyond that, it comes down to the storyteller working on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is in the story. I mean, you can create a sense of awe just in setting that scope within your world building, setting that scope within your storytelling. Like for instance, our last game, you guys met a dragon,
Mm-hmm.
and that was only a significant thing because they have been extinct essentially for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Since the Dragon War.
Yeah.
During the Merithic era, which was like, when all the legendary stuff happened,
Yep.
the world was created. That was the Merithic era,
Mm-hmm.
So dragons have literally been gone for that long, and then you guys met one. But meeting one was only important because I impressed upon you
The lore.
the lore.
Yeah. You defined it.
And then when I described it, I described how it filled this gigantic chamber, but it still was, there was this gigantic space that it was in, but it still filled it, and it was covered with dust, so that it looked like it hadn't moved for maybe decades or centuries, probably, that it had so much dust on it. You almost would have mistaken it for a statue.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things aren't really just kind of impress how ancient it was.
Yeah.
And yet this thing was still just chilling out.
Yeah.
This was alive and well.
Well, I think that in your portrayal, you did a good job of making it feel that it was beyond us.
Mm-hmm.
That there really wasn't anything we were going to do to it.
Yeah. In fact, I think at one point one of the characters, I want to say it was Rhaegar, our warrior, mentioned something about taking up arms against it, and it kind of laughed at him. It was like, oh God, you're serious? Like you actually thought you were gonna stab me? Okay, dude. Well, I mean,
I appreciate your guts, so I'm not even upset.
I'm not even mad. That takes a lot of chutzpah.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I would have to say, in general, I think Mouseguard does a good job because, again, it sets that scale early on. I think Shadowrun does that in a different way. I think any game that gives you a sense of world, that already has awe built into it. That when you look at it, I mean, Palladium has many worlds, but none of them are really awe-inspiring.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of my biggest gripes with Palladium, really, maybe, is that there is nothing in there that, like, you look at and you just go, oh, wow, that's, I got so many ideas even just hearing about that,
Right, whereas, like, the artistry in something like Warhammer 40K gives you awe. Because there's a lot of, I would say, religious affectations in it that add to a sense of art and awe, and like disgust or chaos or honor and glory, and those kinds of things definitely help pull that stuff out.
And I think like you're saying with the sense of scale too, especially with like Warhammer and I always play Chaos in there, and so I mean there are certain demons that you can like field that are not only large models themselves, but just because of the lore behind them.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I can see a block of Chaos Warriors, and those are, I mean, they're mean. They're heavily armored. They're well-trained soldiers. They have nothing to lose. They're utterly bloodthirsty.
Yep.
Stat-wise, they're really formidable. Like 20 Chaos Warriors will mow down 40 of any of the regular, troops in any other army,
Right.
But when you see like a great unclean one, or a keeper of secrets,
right,
or a lord of change,
right,
like even just saying the name kind of invokes that, like, oh, that must be something.
Yeah,
that's a centerpiece of your army, right?
Right.
There, and I think it, like in naming them.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about the Marines. You've got like Chaplain Marine, Titus, with his power hammer that glows and has like a halo over his head, and he's got all these like awards hanging off of him that are just flapping in the breeze, and he's adorned with what makes him great. And I think
there's a sense of pageantry.
Exactly. I think that's really what draws me to it. Regardless of which army it is, there's a sense of pageantry that grows.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a Titan that basically looked like it had a piece of toilet paper hanging off of it, because but the person had written in on it all of the battles that it ever fought in and won. And you're like, holy crap, that's a lot. On the same regard, look at the orcs. Like, there have been orc war boys, not war boys. What are the tanks for orcs?
Mech boys.
The mech boys.
Yeah.
You know, who basically have parts of different other people's armor on them, like ultramarine shoulder pads that are welded in place. Why? Because they took one out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that says a lot.
they looted it, and means to loot it, they had to kill it first.
That's right. So when you do something like that, I think it adds a sense of pageantry. I think pageantry causes awe in that same regard.
And I think a lot of it has to do with world building too.
Yeah,
I mean,
very much
really, you're almost not going to get that sense of awe unless you've got the world building. Like you were talking about, the Space Marine chaplain covered in purity seals and ribbons and whole bits of scripture that are just hung from his armor and stuff like that. Is that all of that implies world building?
Yeah.
That there is a community system, that there is an honor system, there are these awards and stuff like that. And not only that he's earned a lot of them, but that these things exist in the first place and he's covered in them.
All right. Did we kill this topic?
We might have.
It's 20 minutes in. We need another question. We need to do another thing. All right. What do you want to do for this one? What do they need to type for this giveaway?
Wait. I'm sorry. What do I want to do?
For a giveaway. We need another giveaway. So
okay.
I've got a giveaway ready. Just what do you want them to say?
Oh.
So giveaway time.
All right.
So type in the chat what?
Dragon.
Type dragon in the chat to be part of this giveaway. Let's see what happens. Let's see how many we get on this one. So it is a game giveaway. I do have some books in here too, but this is going to be a game giveaway. So, here they come. So, we do have more questions that we could do. This will be fun. Let's see how many we get here. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we've got a couple.
We got a couple. We got a couple. We'll give it a couple more seconds just to make sure that we don't have too much delay on MixLR. So we'll hit another question. Or do you want to roll this one?
Yeah, sure. I'll roll this one. All right. So Overwatch.
Let's do a D8 on this one.
Let's do D8.
D8 on this one.
All right. So Overwatch wants to know general consensus.
Okay.
3rd edition breathed new life into D&D.
I agree.
And made Pathfinder a thing.
Totally.
4th edition is the red-headed stepchild.
No doubt about it.
I don't know if it's red-headed stepchild that implies that it didn't earn its reputation, but I digress. 5th is much beloved, especially by the new players.
Very much so.
Which other game system / universe out there would you resurrect and or give the makeover treatment to, and why?
Let's do the giveaway, and then we'll get into this. All right.
We rolled a 5.
Mad Elf.
Yeah, all right. Congratulations,
Mad Elf. You are the proud winner of Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. I will be sending you a copy of that after this game. After we get done with this.
That's awesome. I'm low-key jealous.
Congrats. All right. So, resurrect. That's a good question.
Resurrect and or give the makeover treatment to. So, I mean, it could be a current game that you'd like to see a rules overhaul of.
I think the one that I brought up, bringing back TMNT.
Oh, yes. I would love to redo TMNT and Other Strangenesses.
Yeah, we had to bring Turtles into the story somewhere along the lines. Here's where it comes in, guys. TMNT.
We're contractually obliged at this point.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen that way. So, no, I think that TMNT had a really neat vibe to it because it was already talking about comics. And not so much like the dark, gritty Dark Horse comics, but like kind of fun. Like bringing back almost animation fun to things. So I would say bringing that back in a fun way would be amazing.
I always loved, and I know I've said this on the air before, but I've always loved TMNT's mutant creation process. Like their rules for like take any creature. And here's how you essentially make the rules to turn it into a mutant. Yeah. Between its how big its size is, what natural abilities it might have, from sonar to digging claws to, Tasmanian devils were interesting. They had like heightened metabolism that allowed them to do like extra damage and stuff.
Well, not only that, but like for me early on, it was great because it was bad at role playing. Like I didn't understand how to play a role or make something up. Like not that I was bad at being creative, but like I didn't know where the boundaries lie. So being able to roll and being like, oh, I was created in a lab, and I broke out from it through a vent shaft,
Uh-huh.
but found a doctor who nursed me and helped me become my 6-foot Minotaur self.
Yes. Exactly.
And now I work as a garbage man. That's my side. Like, it literally painted all of that out in roles.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, BioE points, totally.
Draven is here. He says he will fight us on 4th edition.
Oh, that's fine. He can fight us in 4th edition, but
That's fine.
I will say it earned its terrible reputation, and the fact that there was errata for 4.5 basically in there. I mean, we had 3.5, but there was a 4.5, and there was plenty more than enough places where even, like, Order of the Stick made fun of it.
Yeah.
For some of the problems that were in it. But at the same time, there was some good stuff that did come out of it.
There's always some good stuff that came out of it. I mean, at its core, it was still D&D, and it was still a move forward from 3rd edition. So,
yeah.
I get you. Knocks in the Box is saying, collect Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, okay. Okay. I could see that. I still think the Jenga Dread breadstick game would be interesting. Challenging, because you're going to have, like, friction and all kinds of issues there.
I want breadsticks now.
Yeah.
Like, stop eating the tower, Sarah. Like,
yeah, that's probably what...
You're made of carbs. Carbs are love.
Oh, that was the idea. So I have 3 minutes before our next giveaway. So since we have Overwatch on the channel, so Overwatch and I were at a convention.
Or use Pocky.
And he found this comic that was about a chef who ends up going back in time to dinosaurs.
Oh, you told me about this.
And ends up cooking one through a mech suit, basically, to save himself, because he's in this suit, and then ends up bringing that meat back to normal time to cook it for people and make a restaurant out of it. And the comic actually has recipes in it.
Oh, God.
But my thought was, how much fun would it be for there to be a game where you are effectively shadow runners being told you have to go through time and space to find recipe items?
Oh, man.
So you're going to get unique things.
See, now you're... Okay, so, hold on. I'm going to bring this around full circle.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, because you're talking about going trans-dimensional through time and stuff like that, okay? Back to the dinosaur times, and we just got done talking about Palladium and specifically Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles setting.
All of that is in there.
I have sitting on my shelf trans-dimensional TMNT and Turtles in Time.
Yep, both
which are
of
the
those
2
things.
source books for that.
See? Always bringing it back to Turtles.
And,
always
man, they had some cool rules for time travel. To this day, probably my favorite description of how time travel should work.
And I think that's some of the stuff that really could make it fun again. I think that would bring some fun out.
Knox in the Box says, I want to play the Cadillacs and Dinosaurs TTRPG. I know it exists. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Man, that is a property. I don't think I ever got into it. Like, I only kind of know the barest bit about it, but it was kind of this, like, I don't know, probably Ark is probably the closest to it, where you've got, like, high tech, but also they're riding around on dinosaurs, but the dinosaurs have, like, mechanized armor and lasers on them.
Oh my lord! Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I'm sure I've seen art for this somewhere.
Knox, if it's at all convenient for you, can you dig up like a link, even if it's just like a wiki page or something like that, and drop it in the live chat? Because I kind of want to take a look at that, and I think everybody else should have a piece of reference for Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, because anytime that you can resurrect some fun, like Toon or things like that, I think you give you give an option that's outside of the norm, outside of grittiness, outside of harshness, outside of that, where you can have some random fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
See, me for my personal, I would love to make it over game.
Nice.
Is definitely the Aeonverse.
Yeah, you've loved that for a long time.
I don't think that it got enough time to shine in the spotlight. Like I said, Adventure Tales of the Aeon Society was canceled basically before the source book ever hit the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
And Aberrant, which was arguably probably the best of the games. I know Trinity probably got the most source books, but Aberrant was really good, but there were if you read the rules even once, you know that there are a few combos in there where if you were playing rules as written with no house rules or restrictions or anything like that, you could easily make a base level starting character that can shred gods with their bare hands.
Yeah.
And that just really unbalances the game in a lot of ways. So.
All right. Do you want to do a giveaway?
Yeah,
you can pick something off the list. You don't have to go straight down the list either.
All right, let me pull up the list here.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Okay. There's some good stuff on that list.
I thought I had it around here somewhere, but
oh man, Twilight 2000. Wow, there's a rule set.
Apparently, I don't. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna try to pull the list up.
Okay.
There we are. Is it gonna come up for me? Yes. All right. Well, I want to give away one of my favorite systems.
Do you want to say what it is this time?
Yeah.
Go ahead, say it.
I would like to give away BattleTech.
So this is going to be a game of BattleTech on Steam. So what do we want to do for this one? What word do we want?
Let's just do the word mech.
Mech. So mech in chat.
MECH, mech.
If you want in on this one. So BattleTech actually does have RPG elements with MechWarrior.
Yeah.
And I think the story, and that's one of the reasons why I put it on the list here and why I made it an option, was that the story in the new BattleTech is quite good.
Oh, it really is.
Quite good.
It really is.
And I want people to be able to enjoy it. I want people to go through it, and it's good for anybody because it's turn-based.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it moves, the way that it saves, anybody can enjoy it. Everybody can have a good time with it, and you can play multiplayer online.
It's pretty faithful to the tabletop rules as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to count this as your gateway drug to get into the tabletop version,
yeah.
Was it Catalyst Games that's doing the new tabletop version?
Yes.
And they're doing several Kickstarters. So they're proceeding to put out more stuff for it. You can usually find the starter kit comes with some battle mechs with it. And this is the game that probably is my oldest role-playing game. While everybody else was playing D&D, I was hip-deep in BattleTech.
Yeah, I got into it a little bit, but I just didn't have a group that was really into it, unfortunately, at the time when I was wanting to play it. And by the time I got into other groups, BattleTech wasn't being discussed.
Yeah.
So I lost track of it. So
I think it was already pretty old by the time that my high school group got into it. But and I think we were just at the cusp of I think MechWarrior 2, the video game, had just come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of everybody was kind of moving towards the video game things. And even when you said oh yeah, I play BattleTech, and people are like, oh, you mean the video game? Is that MechWarrior?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God,
Yes.
Yes. It's what the video game came from.
Yes.
But,
Well, it looks like only 4 people are interested, so roll that D4. Let's find out who gets it.
D4. All right. I cast Magic Missile. Numero dos. This looks like Technolich again.
I guess Technolich wins again.
That's Technolich again. All right.
Enjoy yourself, Technolich.
Enjoy BattleTech. Congratulations, sir.
All right. Added to the list.
All right.
All right, get another question up here. What do we got?
I have to switch around on my pad here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we belabored that point. Next up, we have Oh, I have so many opinions about this one. I'm so sorry.
This will be fun. Oh, I know which one to talk about now. Okay.
So the Arcane Asylum.
Yes.
Would like to ask, as a massive Trekkie myself, I have a related and an unrelated question. Any experience / stories for any Star Trek tabletop RPGs or any other sci-fi will suffice.
Okay.
Star Trek Adventures was my first foray into the GM seat.
Right.
And unrelated, construct your ideal Enterprise crew.
There's too many variables for me. Too many
variables. All right. Well,
variables.
let's start back. Specifically, do you have any experience with a Star Trek RPG or just any RPG, sci-fi space RPGs? In general?
I got into Star Wars.
Okay.
Early on, and unfortunately, the storytellers I had for it were pretty terrible. So it didn't last me very long. Otherwise, the only sci-fi stuff I've done is Palladium based. Really, I don't really consider Shadowrun to be sci-fi. So no, I really never got into those. But there was I knew there was a bridge game that was a Star Trek related that wasn't Star Trek. It was non-canon, but they kind of made it more about handling situations on the bridge.
Yeah.
And as far as anything that was probably role play was less role play and more about I'm an engineer and I have these traits and I'm helping this encounter this way.
Right.
And the
right.
encounters were very much like, oh, you're on a rescue mission, or oh, you're on this attack mission, or defense mission, or an escort, or something like that. And it was getting through those encounters. So it was more along those very hard, very straightforward kind of situations.
Yeah.
And the role play was very light for it. So
I think my my only real foray into sci-fi, believe it or not, was Trinity, which is the third part of the Aeonverse.
yes.
And I was running that for a little bit, and it was kind of cool. I ran it kind of like kind of like Firefly with psionics, I guess. They were a little group of do-gooders, in a small ship, kind of out there in the universe. Had some kind of survival horror aspects along with it. When I brought aberrants into the game, but honestly, I found it a little bit difficult to run because I was so set in the mindset of like fantasy role playing of D&D and whatnot that it was a very difficult shift for me to make. And there's like a lot of like I always wanted to play Spelljammer, and I don't know if that counts as sci-fi or not.
I think it cusps the edge of sci-fi, but it's really
spacefaring.
It's space fantasy.
Uh-huh.
I think I think there's a different. I think space fantasy is space opera.
Yeah.
Really,
yeah.
it's and in that it's different. That's your I'm a human on Mars kind of situation. Like that. But I would say, getting back to the actual question at hand, we had talked about this a little bit over dinner, and I would agree that I think seeing an extremely diverse crew in situations where it's not exploration and it's not the gritty realism of life, it's the people who are going to take care of existing situations. Whereas the Enterprise may leave a group that they just got into the Federation, that isn't to say that newly acquired group in the Federation doesn't have a bag full of problems that they're now going to ask for the Federation's assistance on.
Yep.
And some ships got to go take care of that.
Yep.
So,
and they may have baggage of their own that is now going to reflect upon the Federation for better or for worse.
Especially situations that, humanity as we know it today has already gone through. Nothing to says that they're not going through, a civil war or mass genocide or any number of other things. And like now you have crew who are having to go back through their own histories and rediscover what their situation fits in.
Yeah.
And how does it map up? So... Yeah.
For me, I agree. Definitely, our ideal bridge crew definitely needs to have a lot of diversity in it. Like Gene Roddenberry, when he first created Star Trek, used it basically as kind of to show what the ideal future would look like.
Yeah.
We're in the height of the Cold War, so he put a Russian. On the bridge, as one of the most trusted advisors there. We had, an alien. We had Nichelle Nichols as a black woman.
Yeah.
Not only a woman, but a black woman and on comms.
Yeah, we had an Asian who, not far in the past, just recently was, basically sequestered.
In an internment camp.
Yeah, in the United States.
Yes.
Which we've kind of forgotten that happened, since then, which is terrifying. So, we've had some... We had some interesting stuff that was happening that was very poignant at the time.
And a lot of the plot lines were allegories for, social commentary and stuff like that. I mean, sure, okay, there were aliens doing these things, but, there was, an episode where, the aliens were black on the right half of their faces, but white on the left. But there were some of them that were white on the right side and black on the left.
Right.
And those were the inferior ones.
Right.
And, obviously this is an allegory for, how skin color doesn't matter, but, but Roddenberry wasn't afraid to tackle those sort of things.
No,
and I think
that was a good point.
To me, if you're going to do anything faithful to Star Trek whatsoever, I don't care what sort of story you're telling, it has to include those aspects of diversity, it has to include those aspects of hope. Like, you can't really do Star Trek as, like, a survival horror, where things are bleak and gritty and real. Like, DS9 is as close as I'll allow you to get to, gritty realism in your Star Trek. But even still, there was a hope, there was an idealism to it. There was, people worked through their problems, and at the end of the day, even when the Dominion was closing down on us, we came together,
Right.
And friendship and love and, forgiveness and understanding came through at the end of the day.
Except for Bashir. We won't talk about him.
Oh, dude, we will talk all day about Bashir.
That's a whole other story. I would say, to answer Mad Elf's question, how do you divide sci-fi from cyberpunk, steam, diesel punk, space opera? It comes down to flavor, I think, in a lot of ways. I think that cyberpunk is a vision of our current future, pushed in a more technologically rich environment. And again, I think that's a fantasized technologically rich. I think steam and diesel punk is what we believed the future would have been.
Retrofuturistic is the term.
Yeah.
Retrofuturistic, yeah.
Space opera for me, straight up, is
D&D in space.
D&D in space. It is the simplest form of it.
Yep.
So that's the way I've always defined it.
I didn't understand Star Wars for the longest time. I didn't understand the appeal of it until someone defined it to me as D&D in space, and then suddenly I got it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, I understand this now. This is great.
All right, let's do another giveaway.
All right, so if you'd like to be part of this next giveaway, please put the word hollow in the
Not
chat.
holla.
Not hollow. Yes.
We'll accept it,
hollow.
but...
HOLLOW.
Yes,
Hollow.
and we'll include you on this one. Let's see. I know which one you're going to give away then, because it's a good. It is a good game. So if you haven't played it, Hollow Knight is a wonderful story. It's beautiful artwork. It's award-winning. In fact, it's got several writing awards and artistic awards.
It's often described also as like side-scroller Dark Souls. But it's
not gritty, but
not as gritty. It's beautiful art style.
It's unbelievably beautiful.
It's music, it's animation.
The main character is adorable.
Amazing. The
honestly,
world building is great. Hello, Lordron knows how to spell that.
yeah. So
in the live chat now.
Yep. I think that it's important that and it's one of the things that I wanted to do about with these giveaways is I wanted people to be able to experience some of these stories that are incredible, that are just really in depth. They're beautiful worlds, and you're seeing them visually, and you're getting pieces of them through the actual character interaction. Mm-hmm. But they're very rich, deep worlds that you're getting you're looking through a keyhole.
Yeah.
And you're just in awe of this view you're getting through a keyhole.
Oh, man.
So it allows you to tell a very detailed and rich story with just background in one character's perspective.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's see what we get here.
Looks like we're rolling a D8 on this one.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, a lot of people are
roll
responding.
Roll it up.
Numero 1, Samantha.
Sam, you get it.
Congratulations. Enjoy Hollow Knight.
That's right. That will be sent to you after the show.
Play it, beat it, report back.
Sam shall enjoy.
Congratulations.
Yes.
All right, let's grab another question. In fact, from
Sam.
Samantha.
Sam's question's next
It's
anyways.
actually Sam's question.
Yes.
So what are your top 3 games to play based on how easy they are to learn? I spit 2 out right off the bat.
You did.
And that is Dread. Mm-hmm. And that is WR&M.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the Mad Elf with us in the live chat tonight, who introduced me to WR&M.
Yes.
Introduced all of us, actually, to it.
Yes.
So WR&M, as I've said before, is a game by Stargazer Games. Mm-hmm. It is a free downloadable PDF. You can find that up on drivethrurpg.com.
Highly recommend you get it.
Highly recommend it. The entire rule book is, I believe, 10 pages, and that's only because there are 5 pages of things like weapons, charts, and other various, some spells that get described and whatnot. The actual core rules of the game, I think, comprise 3 whole pages.
Yep.
Your entire character sheet can easily fit on a Post-it note.
Yeah.
If not a 3x5 card.
I think 3x5 card would be far more accessible.
3x5 card will allow you to write a little bit bigger and have a little more verbose information on it. But I could probably put it on a Post-it note.
Probably.
And WR&M is named after the 3 attributes in it. Mm-hmm. Warrior, Rogue, Mage.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Is it a feat of strength that maybe a warrior would do, or of athletics or something like that? Mm-hmm. Then it's a warrior role.
Yep.
Is it a sneaky thing or an act of dexterity or maybe beguilement? Mm-hmm. Well, then maybe that's a rogue.
Yep.
Is it an act of intellect or
lore,
discovery or
history?
lore?
Yeah.
Then it's a mage.
Yep.
That's it.
Real simple.
That's the whole thing. Yep. Skills are, do you have them or not?
Yeah.
If you do, +2.
Yeah.
Roll 2d6.
Yeah.
That's it.
You just write them. Yeah.
And super simple, super easy. experience is done on a milestone advancement sort of thing. So it's like there's no experience points. It's literally just at the discretion of the storyteller when you level up.
Yep.
There's certain things you can do with your level up to advance your character's progression.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep. Very simple, very easy.
You just learned WRM.
Yep.
Like,
it is a rules light system. It is I will say DM heavy, because the DM has to do the balancing.
Yeah.
And that can be challenging if you're unfamiliar with it. But I think if you step into it with a zero session, and you have a good world, and your players can be creative themselves, that they don't need an pre-existing framework to come up with an idea, or they have ideas and they just want to play a game that's a little more freeform. Yeah, it's a great way to go.
It's a great way to go. Then we've got Dread.
Yes.
The only rules in Dread are there's a Jenga tower. Everybody pulls from the Jenga tower. It is a survival horror game, hence the name Dread.
Yeah.
And basically anytime there is a test, you don't roll dice or anything like that. You have no character sheets.
Yep.
There's no stats.
You pull a block.
And if at any time that tower falls, the last person to have touched the tower, which is often the person interacting with the tower, but, if it teeters after you walk away from it, then sorry, buddy. Then that person is removed from the game in whatever thematically appropriate way. Either they go insane and run screaming into the night, or they're devoured by zombies, or, I don't know, whatever the story dictates, but they are removed from the game at that point.
That's crazy.
Yep.
All right, we're doing another giveaway. This is going to be to fit into our genre here. I'm giving away Starfinder Pack Worlds campaign.
Hey, that's a good gift.
So this is the ebook for the RPG campaign setting for Starfinder. So put Starfinder in the chat. STARFINDER, all crammed together, and that will be the giveaway for this one. So you will get a copy from I think it's Paizo. Paizo.
Yep.
So I will send you the keys for this. So, because when I looked it over, I was like, "Ooh, this would be fun to throw at somebody and have some fun with." Plus, it gives you a whole other world for things to read about.
Right. And even if you never play, it's at least another source of inspiration for you out there for your storytelling. You pull ideas from it and such like that. Right,
and it kind of puts you also into another engine of places to find books besides Drive-Thru RPG or just going to D&D Beyond and buying the digital books there. This gives you another outlet to start getting into and getting attached to. What's out there for them. So, but yeah, I think we've been talking enough about space books and star stories and things like that. So why don't we step into that?
Now, Technolich actually brings up GURPS. And I know we had a little bit of discussion about that and about rules complexity when we were kind of talking about this at dinner.
Well, the one thing that I came up with is that rules light systems are not easy for people who need structure. If you're constantly asking the question of can I do this versus how do I do this, I think you run a risk of stressing some people out, and that makes it very challenging for them. So I think anytime you look at a game system and say, is it easy? The real question is it easy for whom? What type of player? If they need a lot of structure to help them get into something, then something like WRNM might not actually be the right system for them. They might need something with a little bit more structure, and a little bit more meat.
I'm gonna roll this D6 real quick. Okay, we're gonna give away Starfinder, then I'm gonna have your response for that.
Sounds good.
So numero dos. What do we have? Technolich has won twice already. Do you want to?
We're gonna push it down the list.
All right. Hello, Lordlon.
Yes.
Congratulations. You are the proud owner of Starfinder.
Yay! Just going to you. Hello.
All right. So my response to you regarding the whole complexity thing is this is a discussion that Sean and I, who's Heatsink here in the live chat with us, have pretty regularly about GURPS, because he mentions GURPS and I sigh and roll my eyes, and we have some good-natured ribbing about it, but he really loves GURPS, and I really don't like GURPS, and it's mostly just because Sean appreciates things that have structure and a definition to them. And that's, for him, those are easier because, like we've had issues with like 5th edition. Yeah. 5th edition is I would say rules medium.
Yeah.
You know, there are definitely some structure to the rules, but there's enough holes left in it that say, okay, we'll fill in the interpretation with DM's discretion.
Right.
And to a certain extent, he really dislikes that because, first off, DM's discretion is not something you can bank upon. You know, you do an action with what you perceive to be an expected outcome.
Right.
And then there are hurt feelings afterwards because of unmet expectations or mismanaged expectations.
Correct.
You know, simply because it was left up to the DM and the DM had something different in mind when how they narrated it, how they ruled it, what dice hit the table, what stats were involved and things like that.
Or in situations where there aren't dice hitting the table.
Yeah.
Where it's a situation of, well, why can't I? Because there isn't a role for this. It just should happen.
Right.
It says it just should happen, and you're like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the worst is when you say no. When you actually have to say
when you
no.
actually have to say no, right.
Versus yes and. Or have a consequence.
And then as a storyteller, I'm on the spot now because now I have to make a ruling on this. And the rules have left this big gaping hole for me. And it's not the way I may want to take my narrative, but how do I do that? How do I yes and that when yes and would involve setting an unwanted precedent in my game of how a certain ability can be used or how a certain skill can be used or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And we've run into that a couple times.
Very much so.
Whereas but to the opposite side of that, you've got GURPS. And GURPS has a rule for damn everything.
Yep.
And I mean, for better or for worse, it's a very big game. It's a very complex game. As you said, in that there's a rule for every blade of grass out there.
Yes, it is. It is highly detailed down to a finite level.
But if there's ever a question of what happens while I'm grappling and I try to punch a guy in the kidneys to stun him for a round, there's a rule for that.
There's
somewhere.
a rule for that somewhere.
You know.
Yep.
And all we have to do is just pull out the book, look it up, or have the storyteller say we are not using those particular rules. You know.
Yeah.
And that's always been my thing. Is like I don't like having to learn 7 different books and pare those down. You know, to a simplified rule system that we can play with. Just give me a simplified rule system.
Right, and simple rules are hard to get right. And I think some writers who do get those right look back on even their own rules and like, I didn't get it right. Like I've known some very simple rule systems that I've looked back on and been like, wow, that's kind of fun to play, but you can't play it with every person.
Yeah, you really can't.
Overwatch brings up Amber, and all Amber makes me feel is angry. Every time I see it, it's like all I can think of about is all of the narcissistic people who played Amber and played it so viciously.
Yep.
That's it. You want to lose friends? Play Amber.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's the truth of that one. So
gonna do another giveaway?
Sure, I'm up for it. Let's do a book.
Yeah,
I've got a good book out there.
A lot of video games tonight.
I've got Any Empire by Nate Powell. It's I won't say what the book's about. It does have sci-fi elements to it and space elements, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But it is a very good book.
He hasn't even told me, folks. He hasn't even told me what.
I would say we're giving this one away. So
don't feel left out.
Yeah. So Any Empire by Nate Powell. So just put
Empire
in the chat if you want the Any Empire by Nate Powell. So
the Mad Elf says, I challenge that assertion. Amber games I played in were some awesome games. And I'm not saying, look, we're not saying you can't have a good time. I'm saying it takes a certain type of player and a certain group. Like,
well, to be fair, the Amber is like any other game system. It can, you have to have the right group for you. And I think that kind of comes back to some of our earliest stuff that we came to in the system when we first started the show is that your group may be different than our groups, and it probably will be. Like you may be dungeon runners. I know that Sean's group that he normally would play with before was a bunch of dungeon runners. They loved grinding through dungeons.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that playstyle. There's nothing at all. Nor is there anything wrong with people who love the Game of Thrones, campaigns where people are politically playing against each other.
Yeah. Everybody's manipulating everyone,
manipulation.
And don't trust anyone. Yeah.
Right. And some people love that stuff and can distance their personal selves away from their characters enough that they find it very, very exciting and fun. And that's great. That's wonderful. Some people, just as much as some people like certain video games that are grindingly hard, but love the win at the end.
Yeah. That's me.
nor to be any different than some people love, JRPGs, the romance where everything is about like who's in love with who and this relationship and that relationship. There are whole RPGs, like tabletop RPGs wrapped around that stuff too. Players are different everywhere. Game styles are different everywhere.
All right, looks like we only have two takers for any Empire. So
really?
I'm going to roll this D4 here.
Okay.
On a 1 and 2, it's going to Overwatch, and on a 3 or 4, it's going to Mad Elf.
All right.
Looks like it's a 4. So,
right.
Mad Elf, congratulations. You are the proud owner of any Empire.
Excellent. Going to Mad Elf. All right.
Heatsink does come back, though, and says, I'd like to say, though, GURPS isn't mechanically complex at all. It's just roll 3d6. Your target is under your skill value, and he's correct. It's a very easy game to learn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the problem is that there's learning which skills to use, under what circumstances, how many rounds certain things takes, what the damage values of certain abilities are, etc., etc. That's where all the complexity comes in. At the end of the day, yeah, you're just going to roll 3d6 under your ability score, but
NASCAR is easy. You turn to the left.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And yet people still get last place.
Yes.
And die.
Yes.
I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth.
You are 100. I could not have come up with a better example.
It's the truth. It is.
NASCAR is easy. You just turn to the left.
I mean, someone's going to shoot me for the one, but at the same time, that's the simplicity of it. The challenge of it is everything else. It's the timing. It's the rotation. It's getting the right crew. It's having the right timing on your engine, knowing the vehicle, knowing your own timing and shifting, knowing airflow of the vehicle in front of you and how much space you have and your reaction. I mean, there's so much involved in that. But really, it's just turning to the left.
It's just turn
driving and turning to the left.
Go fast. Turn to the left.
That's right. And don't die. We still have time. We got like 2 minutes here before the show.
We got a couple minutes. Here,
unless we don't want to even follow that rule and just finish up our giveaways.
Let's just finish up our giveaways, man. Let's just do a couple more. You know
all right,
what?
I'm gonna stand up.
Having good. It's our 1 year anniversary. I'm feeling good about this. So yeah, let's just do some more giveaways here, man. I want to give away. Let's see here. We gave that away. All right. Well, we've got this Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy Remastered. Now, Indigo Prophecy was an older game that they have. It looks like they remastered here.
Yes.
And it's a kind of a narrative game. It's got some adult themes to it, so be prepared for that.
Ooh, it's adult themes.
It's kind of at very least PG-13, if not R. Murder mystery sort of thing, but it's got psychics and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot involved in it.
Yeah.
But primarily it's a mystery game.
Right. So let's just go ahead and put Indigo in the chat if you would like a chance at winning Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah, not Inigo, because that's different.
Right. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
So, but it is a Steam game, just so you guys know. Yep. So Indigo, if you want to win Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy Remastered, we're throwing that one out right now. Indigo in chat, if you would. Let's see here. Well, yeah, we can do a few of these. Plus, we're still always looking for questions from you guys. It could be anything, even for what we were doing this year. So feel free to throw some questions at us, because I feel like we're missing some.
Do we want to talk about some of the antics that went on that we didn't really ever talk about on the air?
You mean like the T-Rex costume,
or
getting shot?
So we walked in. Or getting shot.
Yes.
Like we broadcast at a place called Podcast Detroit, and Detroit carries with it a certain reputation.
That is true.
Let's not just unqualified say we got shot.
That's true.
So we walked into the studio at one point, and Caitlin is just standing there in a T-Rex costume, like one of those T-Rex costumes you see all over the place
ones,
that are like inflatable.
Yeah.
And, I didn't even know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
I wanted to laugh. I wanted to,
We wanted to hug her. It was perfect.
My brain just blue screened.
Yeah.
I was just staring at her, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, I don't even know what to do now.
Yep. But the honesty of it is that, we looked at that, we said, that is how we will always know Caitlin as our engineer. So, anytime you think Caitlin is our engineer, just think of a T-Rex at our soundboard. Mm-hmm. We were literally going to do that for
Big
one
head,
of the
little
episodes.
arms, yeah.
Was we were going to do a shot of us with Caitlin, our engineer, and have it just be Caitlin as a T-Rex, and that was just going to be the running gag, was that we would have a T-Rex that would do everything for us. So,
all right, so we have, it looks like 3 people reaching out for Indigo Prophecy.
Really, nobody else wants this. All right, all right.
The D4. Go. I'm gonna do the D6 this time.
All right, D6.
All right, so 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6.
Sounds good.
But boom, we have a number 5, which I believe is high. That's Overwatch.
Overwatch, you are enjoying a new game.
Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy Remastered.
All right. We did have a question there in chat that came up.
Knox in the box says sound designosaur.
Ooh, I like that. I know we had, what was our favorite episode to record showed up. Favorite episode to record. We had a few good ones.
I think I really liked the story in an hour.
That was really fun to do.
That was really fun. That was really
good
fun. Brain exercise.
Strangely enough, we did not practice that at all. We talked about practicing it. We did it once because you were like, I don't think we can do this. And I was like, we're going to do this right now. And we just pounded it out.
It's not that I didn't think we could do it. I didn't think it would turn out as well as we thought we could. Like, we talked a big story. Oh, we could just do this on the air. And then I was like, maybe we want to go over just in case.
And we did it.
And then Rob was like, I don't think we should do this. Like, we kind of went through our process of like what we're thinking.
Our outlining,
on the same page, so our discussion wouldn't get off track and we wouldn't get in an argument on the air.
That's true.
But as far as the story, we did pull it completely out of our hammer space, and
yeah, but it was fun.
It was a good workout. It was a good storyteller workout. Yeah,
I highly recommend it. Honestly, if you guys missed that episode, go back and listen to it. It was worth it. But it proves the fact that you can do a simple story very quickly. Mm-hmm. Anybody can do it, and it's best done in a group. And I know that's really hard generally. But that's one of the reasons why we have this channel, is so that storytellers can come together and talk. Mm-hmm. I mean, Sarah and I do talk about our games. We do. But we don't go into high details. Like, I won't tell Sarah what's going on in my story, but afterward we'll talk about it. We'll go into detail, we'll break things down, or we'll talk about future ideas that we have. Mm-hmm. So I implore that. I love when I see people talking about stuff in channels. I love when you guys talk back and forth. Sometimes I will just watch and let you guys go back and forth because I find that intriguing. Yeah,
if you don't see us piping in, mostly it's because I don't want to taint the conversation. Mm-hmm. Because my name shows up yellow in there. I don't want there to be any implied like, oh, I'm one of the storytellers here. Like, so you have to take what I say is canon or anything like that. I like to let you guys have those discussions, but I love just listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
some great stuff comes out.
Really great stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always fun to watch, and it's always fun to see where you guys go and where the story leads.
Draven is 12 years old.
It's true. It's true. The other one Mad Elf has was, how do you get around running all the games that you have in mind you want to run? I don't.
You don't.
I make a lot of notes. I talk to a lot of people. I constantly have people coming back to me saying, hey, put me down in the sketchbook for a position for your next game.
Yeah. I had a mutual friend of ours hit us up the other day because you were running your game in Tabletop Simulator.
Yes. And I showed it off.
Yeah, he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, by the way, I've been hearing a lot about your game. If you got an opening, do you have like a waiting list or something?" And I'm like, I don't really have a waiting list because I don't see any of my players dropping out anytime soon. Yeah. But if one does, I'll definitely keep you in mind. I'm so sorry. Like.
Yep. All right, let's do another giveaway. We got stuff to give away.
Yeah, we got so much stuff.
I'm gonna give this one away.
All right.
I have. It is probably one of the best sci-fi stories, and it's an old game, and that is System Shock.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with like good classic games, this is the entire System Shock franchise pack in one.
Nice.
So you get everything System Shock related. And when I saw this come up, I was like, damn, this is a good thing to give away because it is fun. It is a good story. It is old. It is very retro.
Yeah,
it'll play on anything.
If you're a fan of games like the original Half-Life,
yeah,
or Marathon, games like that where they were just starting to dip their toes from first-person shooter into narrative first-person shooter.
Yep.
This is a really great game for you. I had a couple friends who were really big fans of System Shock throughout the years.
There's a lot of story that goes on it, and there's layers that you can miss unless you do specific things in it. It is a good story. So I'm just gonna say put Shock. If you want in on this one, Shock. And we will have you. We'll get this one over to you. So
Technolich says too many players is a good problem to have. I utterly disagree.
I can't do more than I've tried. I've really tried, and I've struggled. I've had games that have had 6 and 7 players in it.
Yeah.
And once you get up to 6 and 7, it gets hard. When you get to 8, that seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've been at tables with 8 people, and I felt like a number.
Yeah.
That storyteller does not know my character.
Mm-hmm.
They do not know it. I think once you get up to that thing, you do less. Your game stories are less. You do less an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have some dedicated people. And I'm sorry, keeping 8 people or 6 people dedicated is hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
I try to shoot for 5. 5 people, good number. Good number to have around the table.
And it's to me it's real crappy because I'm like a people pleaser, I like having, I like saying yes to people, I like having people involved. I like sharing fun experiences with people and having everybody included and happy about it. And I don't like having to turn people down when they're like, oh, hey, I heard you're running a game. Oh, I know I'm running a game, and now you're a really good friend and you're a good role player, and it doesn't mean anything, but I have to say no to you.
Yep.
Because there's no way in hell I could manage another player at my table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially when you start getting up in their own players, you start getting conflicting schedules, you know. And I mean, we're lucky enough that at least some of our players live together, so if one's in, the other's in, typically.
Right.
My significant other sits at my table, you and your wife sit at my table.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like 4 people already that are instantly accountable with 2 yeses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple other people are pretty much down for whatever. So scheduling has been very forgiving to me.
Yeah.
But every person you add in is another variable. So it's difficult.
All right.
Looks like we had 4 people answer. Oh, no,
5.
5.
We had 5.
5 people
so we
answered
do D6.
Okay. We'll just omit ones.
That's fine.
Numero 3. That is another Samantha.
Congrats, Samantha. You are going to enjoy playing System Shock.
All right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and it's a matter of waiting too.
Yes.
I mean, it's just. But I think the good thing about role playing is that, at least for me, it's ageless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to be old and gray in a nursing home somewhere, and I'm still going to be running a game for the other people in my nursing home,
Nice.
Let's dust off 8th edition D&D. What? I said let's dust off 8th edition D&D.
I don't know why we're not playing it right now.
You said you gotta pee?
Oh, I already did that. I think for our retirement is going to be unique.
Yeah.
But unique for us. That's going to be the funny part about it is that we look at what the retirement was like for our grandparents, and we're seeing kind of what the retirement is for our parents. So coming to us, I think is a whole another layer of that's even different. Are you finding the link?
No, I was just looking at what Overwatch was writing in the...
Oh, yes. I'm with Overwatch on that.
Shoot him in the head. To make a profile. Shoot him in the head. Shoot him in the head. Press A.
It's probably one of my personal favorite audio pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that was MC Chris.
It was MCP Pants.
Who was MCP Pants at the time.
Yes. MCP Pants doing his comparison between Resident Evil and Kingdom Hearts. And I highly recommend listening to that if you want to laugh your ass off about it. It's pretty damn good. Meanwhile, they're standing around with their hands on their hips going, gee, I hope I solve this mystery.
And then nothing.
And nothing happens.
Meanwhile, you got zombies all up in your face. The president's daughter's been taken.
It's great.
All right. Let's grab another one real quick. What do you want to do?
Giveaway?
Yeah.
Oh,
why not?
What are we on? Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons.
This one I looked at. It's kind of got a real soft, cartoony kind of look to it, but it's a co-op story game.
Go ahead, Samantha.
So,
yeah, she's asking if we're taking more questions. We'll definitely take them.
Totally. Keep going. But if you're looking for a good story game, this is literally about two brothers. It's kind of a mystery story, but set in a fantasy setting.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a co-op adventure.
It's a co-op adventure,
Yeah.
which are kind of unique. Usually you've got multiplayer elements or your PvP and stuff like that. But it's nice to have
got
a dedicated...
a little bit of an RPG element to it, but it's a story game. So let's go with Brothers.
Just Brothers.
Brothers. So if you want this one, put Brothers in the chat.
And remember, couples that play together stay together.
That's true. Yeah, or connect with that friend that you haven't played with in a long time.
Exactly.
I know Steam has a really neat system where you don't both need to own the game if it's a local co-op game. You can actually play through their Steam link system.
Mm-hmm.
And so all you have to do is have them as your friend. When the game comes up, you can say invite to play, and it streams your screen to them. And you guys can just play together.
That's real cool.
So yeah, and especially right now when you're trying to play with people and you're like, oh, I don't have any money because I'm not working or I'm down or whatever, and you can be like, hey, you don't even have to install this, just join my game. And now you guys can play together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're interested in playing this one and you want a copy of it, just put Brothers in our chat. Let's see, what did she say?
She asks, what's the one item you would buy when you have, quote-unquote, enough money in-game? I'm assuming we're talking D&D, probably.
Well, if it was D&D, I think it all depends on it depends on who you are. I mean, full plate is like the fighter dream.
Mm-hmm.
Just
become impenetrable.
Yeah, I mean, because it stacks your AC like mad. I mean, it depends on the edition too. I mean, like there's certain things, the certain advantages to having like wands and or certain magical crafts. Bag of holding if you can't. Mm-hmm. When all else fails, get a better bag.
Well, okay, but we're not talking about practical stuff. We're talking about extravagant. When you have enough money.
Money.
That one thing that you're just, you've conquered dragons and kingdoms and liches.
What is... Oh, jeez. There's a... is it a coat that has, like, the pockets that constantly have something in it?
There's
a cloak.
There's a robe of useful items, but that's like a pretty common magic item.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It is really fun.
Like, could you imagine playing like a forgetful professor with that thing?
Technolich suggests a battle mech. Mad Elf suggests a random body part of Vecna. We used to joke about the head of Vecna.
Yeah, that's true.
All you have to do is cut off your own head and then put Vecna's head on, and
now you have the head of Vecna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every system has its own thing. Like,
I don't know. I've always been a big fan of like just the Holy Avenger.
Having a good Holy Avenger.
Just having a good old Holy Avenger. I mean, obviously you have to be a paladin to wield one or whatever, but I don't know. I mean, a battle mech isn't a bad way to go. And if you're in a fantasy setting, like, this is one of the reasons I love the Elder Scrolls so much, is there are things like battle mechs in there, but they were all made by the Dwemer, so they're all these, like, brass steampunk constructions,
Okay.
that are just real cool.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, if we're talking Elder Scrolls, I would buy the new Medium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I want a giant battle mech that can...
Like an airship, maybe?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty... An airship
your
would
own
be pretty...
airship, man.
That'd be pretty badass.
Now you're talking my language, man, because every single time, like, I play Final Fantasy, I played a lot of Final Fantasies over the years. And the moment you get an airship and you can just cruise around in that thing, oh, it's the greatest feeling.
Sheebie-jeebie. What would you buy for gaming? Would you have enough money?
Oh, like the entire set of Dwarven Forge, so I wouldn't have to make terrain ever again.
Gaming table.
Oh,
I'd have a custom gaming table made.
One of those. Oh, Sean and I have been low key eyeballing one of those for like the quote unquote future. We don't know when, but the future.
Yeah.
My
only concern is that every time I've ever gotten something prepared, like I built my basement out for land gaming. that paid off a lot. I think maybe for 6 months, and then everyone stopped land gaming.
Yeah.
Yep, I had everything ready for it. So, but
did we get nobody in the chat for Brothers?
Apparently, they didn't want it.
Okay.
I guess not. That's fine.
All right, that's fine. We will move on to a different one then.
What do you want to go for?
What do we have? We have that one.
Do you want to do an e-comic?
Yeah. We've got The Boys. Which is recently was it Amazon or is it Netflix or I think it was Amazon.
I think it's Amazon.
I think it was on Amazon, Amazon Prime Video. The Boys is kind of a gritty realism superhero tale. What would happen if there really were superheroes in the current world? How corrupt would they be? How would they abuse their powers? How would media and government get involved and taint the purity of what a superhero is? And how would some people's ideals of what superheroes should be be changed when they find out what superheroes actually are?
Very Aeon Society.
Very Aeon Society, yeah.
So let's do Boys in the chat.
Boys.
If you want for this one, Boys. For the comic book. Yeah, true. Taint is the word in that. If you're familiar with the Aberrant system. So, but Boys, yeah.
Knox, I'm counting that. You said Boys, so I'm counting that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an ebook.
Yes.
It's the comic. Yep, ebook comic.
Yes,
okay.
It's an ebook comic that we sent. So.
All right, so we're getting a couple of those rolling in. So how do you? So I know you've played a little bit of Aberrant, right?
Oh yeah. I played Aberrant.
I know the Mad Elf was running it for a little bit.
Yes, and then I played it in another game. But I really didn't play a lot. I haven't played a lot of Aberrant. But it's fun. It's different. I like that it has a certain feel of some of the old TMNT stuff, even where you feel like, especially because you're a superhero of a certain level of renown. So,
how did you feel about the sort of gritty realism of it, though? Because I know that's kind of a big turnoff, and some people want to play like Marvel superheroes, where they're very four-color and they're very, super friends, and everything's kind of black and white. You've got good guys, you've got bad guys, but Aberrant, especially if you play it by the book, really blurs the lines on a lot of that. And
I would say it felt too much like life.
Yeah.
I think I play games to step away from life, and almost at every turn in it, it felt like I was crashing hard back into reality, and I was having to deal with reality.
I think that's fair.
And I think I need a good fantasy. And it's not that I loved the storytelling. It was beautiful. Because Mad Elf can tell a damn good story.
Of course you can.
But at the same time, I would always find myself coming back to, why am I not enjoying this as much as I think? And it's because I'm thinking about it from a life's perspective. And that's sometimes hard. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we got what?
4 of them.
Yep.
That's a convenient number.
Yep.
So, looks like Overwatch. Nope. Avendesora.
Yes.
Congratulations, Avendesora.
You get The Boys.
The Boys. Congratulations. How many more do we have? Are we going to go through all these?
We can. We've only got, 3 more giveaways?
I just feel like we're getting a little high on time.
That's fine. I think we can. I can. The rest of these can float out. They're fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not that big.
We can maybe do that in future episodes. Or
sure.
Something like that.
Yeah. We can totally do that.
Nothing saying
I want to do one last giveaway.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna. I said I might do this, and for those who've hung on, this goes. I think everybody could be interested in this. You get 1 free month of being a level above listener. You get to join us in our free chats for the full month. You get basically the Patreon rewards, and we will mention you.
Yeah,
saying that you won our giveaway. So this is the big one for today. So if you want to, if you are a Patreon member, you can go on for this one. We will be subbing you on this. Don't worry about it. We'll figure that out. And for non-Patreon members, you basically get the benefit. So Patreon members, you get a month off. Basically, is what's going to come out of this one. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
So what do you want to do for the word on this one?
Let's just do the word show.
Show. So put in the chat show, and you will get this lovely prize for our before our closing here.
Yep. If you would like a free month of base level contributor to the show, thank you so much.
Because we love all of you, and we want to give you guys the chance to join us more often and to excite and have everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
So that everybody can have fun and you can be part of the discussions and join us. And for those of you who are listening to this cast after the fact, please join us on our Discord. Come and join us, through the links on our Twitter. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you join our discussions and work with our storytellers and contribute to our show. Because it's about our listeners. It's Sarah and I could sit here and chat all the time and not acknowledge anyone, but there'd be no fun in that for us.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it would just get a little light, and I want everybody to kind of try and be more of our community, because right now we need community.
Yeah.
We need the fellowship of each other, and this is a normal for us every week that you've given us. And so this we're giving back just a little bit to say thank you for giving us a normal. Thank you for giving us this hour of therapy.
Yeah.
A reason to do this, because it forces us to do it every week.
Yeah, and for someone like myself who struggles with depression, who's
Yep.
coming in, for very sedentary right now, not a lot of outlets for it and stuff like that, getting up, getting out, getting over here to record the show and such like that is very good for me as well. Just really, honestly, this whole show is just great, and thank you so much for all being here.
Yes. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate that you're here, and we appreciate that you are part of the show.
And we really appreciate the 1 year of being with us.
Yes.
And doing this and helping this community grow. Here's to another year.
Yeah, here's to another year.
Looks like we got some shows in the live chat.
Let's see who gets it.
You know what? I'm going to reroll that.
That's fine. I'm just cocked.
Yep. The Mad Elf.
Mad Elf, you're going to enjoy a month of being along the ride with us. So, all right, let me queue up some stuff over here because we rolled a little late.
All right. Well, congratulations, everybody. You can find us on Twitter at @ST_Conclave and Discord, on Instagram at @ST_Conclave. And you can find us on Discord. Please, I know a lot of you are already there, but for those of you who are listening to this show afterwards, please join us on Discord. You can find the link on our Twitter. You can also find it up on our website, and that is storytellerconclave.blueberry.net.
We'd like to thank our Patreon members, the ones who support us week in and week out. Knox, Sam, and the Arcane Asylum especially. Thank you so much to the three of you for helping us so much. Our intro music is Beyond the Warriors by Geefrog. That's at geefrogmusic.weebly.com. And our outro music, Only Our Footprints in the Sand by Midair Machine, you're hearing now. And that's at soundcloud.com/midairmachine/tracks.
You can find us online, like I said before, at storytellerconclave.blueberry.net. You can listen to us live 7 p.m. Eastern on mixlr.com/storyteller-conclave. And wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to our family, Vicky and Sean, to our friends who've sat with us at our tables all over the years,
and to you,
every single one of our listeners.
Thank
we love
you
you
so much.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.